welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're actually going to talk about new $600 stimulus checks. We're going to talk about $6 hazard pay. First off, thank you guys for watching. If you could and you enjoy these daily uploads, go ahead and hit that like button as it does. So let's get into the update for today. First, today the federal government announced they will be issuing $600 stimulus checks to workers on farms and meatpacking plants. Yes, this is just a select group of people. The reason why, according to the USDA, they are saying that too many of these workers were asked to use their own money to buy PPE early on many of these employees would actually become ill and wouldn't or couldn't actually survive if they didn't go to work. So many of them would be asked to continue working through COVID. Even though they tested positive, they would be asked to continue to work because they couldn't afford to shut down. The American people needed them in order to eat and survive, which is true. Now, these checks are only going to go to a specific group of people, and they're only going to provide for a small amount. Here's what you need to understand. Don't expect, 150 plus million stimulus checks going out of $600. That's not the way it's going to work. These $600 stimulus checks are only going to go to roughly 1 million people, and the fund is only for about $700 million. Roughly $100 million is going to go to administrative fees. But after this was announced, and here's the only reason why I'm bringing this up. After these $600 stimulus checks were announced to workers at meatpacking plants, after this was announced, one House aide said that this was encouraging, but this only brings up the question about others who have risked it all in order to keep the country running and were not giving any bonuses or increased pay. You guys have brought this up multiple times, and I'm on your side. I think people on the front lines, and that is not just firefighters and police officers. I believe every single person on the front lines, firefighters, police officers, sanitation workers, right? Grocery store clerks, people that are stocking shelves at retail stores, nurses, doctors, anybody on the front lines who has had, teachers as well, has had any contact, direct contact with the American public should be getting a bonus or hazard pay or something. Well, we have argued over this for about a year, and it's just now starting to come to the point where lawmakers are asking those questions. Why should we give money to a certain group of people but not others? Well, earlier today we learned that the federal government is actually going to be sending out additional checks to grocery store workers. Yes, this is good news. However, it's also very bad news. This money is very small. This is not a lot of money. They're only going to allocate about $20 million to this. And it's going to go to about 3 million people. 3 million people will be able to apply to receive this. And it's only $20 million. You do the math. This means if every single person who is eligible goes and applies, and the entire 3 million people and $20 million is going to be passed on, what you're going to find is that you will get $6 a piece as some form of hazard pay or bonus check. But here's where I want to really bring your attention. I haven't found a specific reason why these checks are going out. I've looked for the past few hours and I can't find anything. So I don't know if this amount is specifically supposed to be for hazard pay. I'm assuming that's what it is, but it may not be. This could potentially be just their form of paying additional help for those on the front lines who didn't actually claim their portion of the PPE. So maybe they're just going to get $6 a piece in order to pay for their personal protective equipment. We don't know. But again, as soon as I find out, I promise I'll fill you in on that update. Now, what I can tell you is that many lawmakers are extremely upset where we are currently headed. We're not headed in a great direction. Currently, the country is divided. And it's not divided by Democrats versus Republicans. So earlier today, Senator Joe Manchin, he actually had a lot of stuff to say. And this is where many lawmakers said they were even more upset that right now we are divided. Democrats are divided. And they're divided, and right now it seems like all the power is going to Senator Joe Manchin. They're saying this isn't right. And they say it almost doesn't matter who opposes Joe Manchin, that Joe Manchin is going to get what he wants included into this bill. Earlier today, Senator Joe Manchin complained that lawmakers keep talking about free community college, free daycare, and free paid leave. You probably wondered why I keep putting free in quotes. It's simple. According to Senator Joe Manchin, he says that none of this is free. Stop saying it is. Everything will require taxpayer dollars in order to fund these programs, which is true. But this is where things start moving. And this is where things are moving at this time. Many Democrats argue that legislation, or the legislation that Senator Joe Manchin is fighting for, is not even what the American people want and need, especially not at this time. You guys have mentioned this multiple times in the past, and again, I want to thank you for always commenting and also hitting that like button. It really does help out the channel. But in your guys' comments, you keep saying, why do the American people need free community college at this time? Why do we need, this piece of legislation and that? And why should we worry about a pathway to citizenship when we have that crisis down at the border? When we can't figure out anything within our country, why should we be worried about what's happening outside of the borders? Well, here's what we know. According to multiple reports, a lot of experts are asking, do we need free community college? At some point, they say it could be beneficial, but experts say now is not the time for that. They ask, would affordable childcare help millions of Americans? They say yes, but we must address the issue of not having enough childcare centers first. Do not worry about having affordable childcare. Let's worry about having the childcare centers open first. That's what we need to worry about. They ask, should all American workers receive a certain amount of paid sick leave? And lawmakers say yes. But economists say that paid leave only helps those that are working. Currently, we got a different problem. Currently, there's a shortage of workers. There's a shortage of skilled labor available. So addressing the bigger issue and getting people back to work first would make a bigger difference than trying to give them additional benefits when they're still not back at work. Again, it only helps those that are working. But should you be getting additional benefits for working? Yes, you should. You should definitely be getting more benefits. Well, again, progressives say that too much is not going directly to the American people. They say we can't pass watered down Medicare legislation. We can't pass a bill that doesn't provide an additional 4 years of the child tax credit. And how are we not going to provide survival checks to millions of people who are suffering from no fault of their own? Former President Donald Trump kept saying we need to provide more to people that are hurting for no fault of their own. Even current President Biden has said this multiple times, yet progressives are saying we are not doing enough to provide these survival checks or stimulus checks. And we're not. Right now, there's really no legislation. There's no bill out. There's no new proposals that we're hearing for massive stimulus checks all throughout the country. That's not what we're hearing. We're hearing about small little bills going to specific groups to help out this individual or that individual. That's it. Now, even Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, she had this to say today, and I quote, "Nothing would give me more pleasure than to tank a billionaire, dark money, fossil fuel, Exxon lobbyist drafted energy infrastructure bill if they come after our child care and climate priorities." And others feel the exact same way as well. So the discussions are going to get even more heated as we get further on into this process of drafting this bill, actually debating this bill and voting on this bill. There's going to be a lot to it. And things are even going to get more intense. Because today, President Biden, he issued a sweeping new mandate. You've probably already seen this, but if not, here's what you need to know. All employers that have more than 100 employees, they must now require their employees to get or they need to go and take a weekly test. That's the new requirement. Any employer that has over 100 employees must now do this. And according to reports, this is going to impact more than 80 million private sector employees. And here's what President Biden said, and I quote, "We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost." The Biden administration is going to do whatever they can to increase. They will do whatever they can. They will mandate this. And what we are seeing is there could be a big push to see people that will not be able to fly anywhere within the United States. They will not be able to fly. That's the push that we're seeing. So we're going to see a lot of stuff happening over the next probably couple days, but over the next week, we're going to see a big change, a big push on both masks. We got the cases increasing, so obviously that's going to be pretty much the forefront of all news outlets. We also got the talks of this infrastructure bill and stimulus package. So as we know more, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.